Good morning, brothers and sisters. It's 8 a.m. On a Sunday morning, Mother's Day, um, the 14th of May. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And I want to say to the children out there that still have your mother, don't disrespect her and don't forget her. She's very important to you. Without her, who else would be your mother? Who would know you better? And I'm not talking about those ones that go and kill their babies. I'm talking about mothers, the one who raised their children. My mom was an awesome mother, and I miss her. I do. I miss her very much. You guys that have mothers, respect them and give them the respect they deserve on this day that you remember mom. Get her a card, get her a gift, buy her a car if you can. If you can't buy me one, that's fine. I realize a lot of children and their mothers don't quite get along and everything, but let me just say that, even, well, um, when it comes to mothers and sons and mothers and daughters, there's a lot of different kinds of relationships there with each. Some people, some children treat their parents like dirt after they're old enough. Some remember them and do all they can for them, which is what you should do. You have to remember that your mother is a gift from God. You see who's up here, just showing you. Anyway, on this day, let us remember mother, whether it's memories, which I'm having a few today. Oh, how I miss her. Brothers and sisters, I miss her so much. She was my best friend on this earth. Her and my dad both were my best friends. I could tell them stuff or not. They didn't really. They really didn't push me to say anything I didn't want to say. They weren't the kind of parents who were, up in your grill, trying to get in your radiator and overheat you, or mess with your generator. Well, not your generator, but your alternator and your battery. No. Oh, wait a minute. My dad was one that would go get in my radiator to make sure it was full of coolant. And he'd also get into my battery because he changed my battery, and I love him. I love him. I love him. But anyway, like I was going to say, this is one thing I gotta say for my dad. Okay, I figured that I would more than likely I would had to buy a battery. One time I came home, someone gave me a jump. I couldn't turn the car off because the battery had basically I was riding home on the alternator of the car because the battery was already gone. It kind of like busted. It was in the middle of a hot summer. And so the next morning, I pulled my car in crooked as it could go. I pulled it in. As soon as I pulled it in, basically, as soon as I pulled it, now this is God. Even though I wasn't following him back then, he made me home safe. I pulled into my parking space beside Dad's car. And technically it was my car too, because, we both drove it at times. I didn't drive it as much, I'll put it that way, because me and the Ford Festiva did not get along that well. I mean, that car was not meant for me. I'm not a Ford person. I'm a Chevrolet person. Or I guess now you'd say a Chrysler person. I'm a perky person. But when I got home at night, I pulled into my parking space. I didn't get a chance to straighten up or nothing. Because as soon as I pulled in there, that car quit. Okay, it quit. And my dad, I'm going to lay this down right here. My dad next morning got up and I think I had called and told him that my battery's dead or something. And I got to jump and got home because my dad was not about to come up there and get me, nor would I want him to, because my dad didn't like driving in any kind of, hostile environment. And let's face it, where I was working at, it was very hard driving up there. I'm not saying I was the best driver in the world, but I drove it every day to work. And my dad could have handled it, as far as handling it, but he places like that made him really, really nervous and stuff. So I got it jump started. I drove it all the way home. That's what I did. I turned the signal light on to get down the straight. And I figured I would have to drive my dad's car, to work for a little bit until I got paid in a few days or whenever it was I got paid. Get your head up. Whenever, in case you guys are wanting to know, he's got his head in my hand. Hello, everybody. Anyway, I got up next morning after I pulled in there, and my car was backed in. Now, if I had to guess, I'd say that my dad jump-started my car, took it down to a Vance Auto, had a new battery put in it, and then when he came back, he backed it in. My dad was that way even on my gas. He would get there and check to see where my gas was. And if it was down, he'd take it to the filling station and fill it up. I mean, I had a one-of-a-kind dad, I'll tell you that. I miss him too. They used to tell me all kinds of things I didn't want to hear. But, that's okay. Because I know now what they were trying to do. I don't remember the many lessons that I got. And I don't mean it was okay that I didn't hear them or didn't want to hear them. It's okay now. I mean, I realize what they were doing. They were just showing us love. If parents today would show their kids love like parents did back in my day, in the childhood days, a spanking wasn't abuse. That's where it first went to the left, was when they took away the right for parents to correct their children. And then now they're throwing that whole agenda of drag clowns and wannabes and all that stuff, and also the wannabe husband and wife that's not a husband and wife. They're like, if anything, there's two that would be wives that are together, and then there's two that would be husbands that are, in other words, man, woman. And if you don't understand that, it means gay couples, homosexuals. But anyway, I'm not going to get on that bandwagon. It's wrong, and you need to get right because Jesus is coming. I really don't know if I said this or not. I don't think I did, but yesterday, I did. Yesterday, I went on, I have another old Facebook. I don't get on it very often because I don't have the password, and it's signed in on one of my old phones, and I charge that phone up. Well, it's charged up now, and I go on there and look and see what's been left and everything, because sometimes there's a lot of stuff left there. and left on there from other people, like, messages and tags or whatever on there. And I go in every so often to check it and, let people, hey, I got another Facebook, I'll let them know about. But like I was saying,